Hi, and welcome back to Rain or Shine Gardening. I'm Katie, and today I have this amazing gorilla cart full of beautiful plants. It is a very cold day, but we are not freezing, which means I still have an opportunity to plant right now and get things in the ground. I want to do that because things don't do as well in their cans, in their nursery cans, as they do in the ground. So as long as my ground is not frozen and it's not too saturated with water that everything's just going to kind of get flooded out, it's my goal to get things planted and in the ground today. So I'm not sure how many of these beautiful things I'm actually going to be able to get planted, but my goal is to kind of take these things around and see what areas speak to me, what areas I want to get planted up today. I did have some trees that I recently got in the ground in a corner, the front kind of corner of my garden, and I'm ready to get some additional things planted so I can maybe put some bulbs in for springtime and kind of get some of those areas more established. I will show you as we go along and get planted, certain things planted up. I'll show you what they are. I'll explain to you the names of some of these beautiful things and give you more details. Yeah, let's get started. And we're getting drizzled on. It's a little bit rainy today, but that's not going to stop us. So let's get our gloves on and get started on some planting. First up, I am here down in the front corner of my yard. This is close to my sidewalk. And you can see this garden bed here is pretty vacant of any winter interest. And so this is where I really want to add some things in. And we have this green boxwood here. So that brings kind of that bright green color. You'll notice that my lamb's ear is looking pretty tired. I do have let's see, quite a bit of area here to be able to plant. So what I chose is something that is blue. And I want to add this in because I don't have anything blue in this area. But look how great that needle structure is on this blue star juniper. This is one I got at a local garden center called Owls. And it is a blue star juniper. It will get 1 to 3 feet by 3 to 4 feet in approximately 10 years. And I know that it's going to take a little while to grow, so it will be perfect in this area. I just want to increase my color that I have. So it's a really beautiful plant, and this looks like the perfect place for it. It is pretty small. It's just in a 1 gallon right now. It'll take a couple of years to get some size on it, but it will add a really great little pop of blue in this corner. So I'm going to go ahead and get it planted. Was pretty quick and easy to get in the ground, and this little juniper is going to add some really great blue color to my garden. I did just want to mention that in all of the holes where I'm planting today, I'm using Biotone starter fertilizer. I want to make sure that these plants have as much of a boost when they're getting planted as possible. I'll come back in the springtime and make sure they get some more fertilizer. But I'm using that starter fertilizer to really help with the root development and to help them get established. So this little juniper is in its new home. I do have a couple other things that I might get planted in this area. So let's see what we have in our cart. Okay, another color that this bed is lacking is red. And I did pick up 3 of these Heucheras, and they are called Little Cuties Sugarberry Coral Bells. And I thought these would be a really great red addition to this bed. So I've got a little bit of chartreuse in the corner, some of that yellow. I've got the green boxwood, and then my juniper that's blue that I just planted, and this will be some of that red accent. So this Little Cuties Sugarberry coral bells, or Heuchera, is going to be a really good addition in this bed. I've got 3 of them, so I think I'm going to just plant them in a little swoop around the front of my juniper. Okay, look at this corner now. It's got some color. So we have that blue star juniper in the center. It's going to grow out and get bigger in years to come. And then we have those really pretty red, kind of purpley color almost to those heucheras. I did have a couple that were called grapes, or one of them, the one in front actually, was called grape soda. So a couple different varieties, but those bring such an interesting color in the wintertime when I don't have blooms on anything and things look a little bit void of color elsewhere. So really happy to have those planted out of their cans and planted into the ground. We're going to get quite a bit of rain here in the upcoming week, so I don't want to flood them too much and put too much water on them. But if we don't get too much rain today, I might want to supplement water them a little bit. But happy to have these planted. And now to move on to the next section. Okay, this section here is the next area in my garden that needs a little bit more interest in the winter. So we do have a couple trees. I have my thundercloud flowering plum. It's still got some leaves. Somehow it's still hanging on, but it's going to be losing its leaves. My Chinese dogwood here in the very front, and then a final fire maple on the other end. So I kind of have a trio of trees here in the front, but I don't have a lot of other winter interest. I have dahlias and I have Gara that comes up in the summertime and the spring, but not much going on here in the winter. So I want to get some things planted here that will make this more of an interesting area. The thing that I have in mind that I want to plant is something that I picked up recently from a different location of an Al's Garden Center. The one closest to me is pretty small, but I went to another one for a holiday event recently, and I found something that I have to show you. So this is an item from Iseli Nursery that is fairly popular, I would say, and I found this beautiful specimen of the Primo Arborvitae from Al's Garden Center, and I could not pass this up. It was a really great deal because everything in their store was it 25% or 30% off for their holiday sale, and this was just standing out to me. I kind of went out and did some plant shopping, even though there wasn't much light in that area. For the Christmas event, I just was drawn to it, so I went out to see what they had, and I was glad that I did because I found this really beautiful Primo. So I've been looking for one of these. This one has a really interesting branching structure. So this Primo, it says, is narrow and upright. It gets 3 to 5 inches per year, and it will only get to 4 feet high and 1 foot wide in about 10 years, the garden size of it. So it wants full sun. This area in the front of my garden bed is one that I struggle with sometimes because it gets too much sun. So this will definitely get full sun in the front of my garden. Now, I need to figure out where to place it. And I think because my thundercloud flowering plum is so tall on one side and my Japanese maple isn't quite as tall on the other, in order to kind of balance out the look of this bed, I think I might put it more on this side. So I'm thinking maybe in this area. So this will give it some good winter interest. When my trees don't have any leaves on them, it'll be something in this front garden bed. I also have a couple other things that I might plant kind of in this area too, but this one I definitely wanted to get in the ground before we start getting too cold of temperatures. So let's start with getting this one planted, and then we'll figure out what else might be a good fit for this location. Okay, this is my next plant that I'm going to get in the ground, and this is a sham tea Red Star, and it describes it as a showy dwarf conifer. Star-shaped blue-green needles create a softly textured, dense cone. Develops a beautiful red color in the winter, 5 feet by 2 feet. So full to part sun, evergreen zones 4 through 8. So this one is another unique dwarf conifer that I want to get in my garden. My garden's not that big, so I need to think about that size in future years before I plant things. But this one I thought would be great to add some blue color in the summer, that blue-green needle, and then how it turns to red in the winter would be really great to add up kind of behind where the Primo is here. So I don't really have anything in that area either that is winter interest. So now I'm going to get this one placed, and the rain is picking up, so I am getting a little bit more wet. I'm not sure how many other things will get planted today, but the rain won't stop us, rain or shine. We have to kind of live up to the name here. So we're going to get this one in the ground. now I have my Primo and my other dwarf conifer planted here on this side. I did get a dwarf Alberta spruce planted over here and a Moonstar Juniper the other day. So you can see how now I'm kind of getting some winter interest and some conifers established in my garden, which is going to be really great come spring when the bulbs start coming up and start getting some annuals planted. These will be really good kind of grounding pieces to have here instead of just that mulch and kind of those lower story plants underneath. So really looking forward to this. I think this is where I'm going to stop the video today, but first let me take you through and just show you again the things that we got planted. So here was that first trio of Heucheras, that beautiful red color surrounding the Blue Star Juniper. This is going to be such a pretty little area of my garden. I have some hostas down in this area, so when those come up, I might want to move things around, but right now for the winter, this looks like really great placement, and it just contrasts really well with this boxwood that I have above it, and you can see some bulbs that are already poking through the ground. I did dig a few bulbs up while I was planting these things today, but I stuck them back down in the hole hoping that they will still bloom in the spring and that I didn't completely wreck those bulbs. But if I have to sacrifice a couple bulbs to get some really beautiful things planted, that's okay with me. And then here in this front garden bed is where I got my Primo Arborvitae, which is from Iseli Nursery, planted here on this side of the garden bed. You can see it there. And then I got that Red Star Dwarf Conifer planted on this side. So it describes it being kind of a blue foliage during most of the year, and then in the winter it starts getting some red color to it. So that will be really pretty to have here in the front of my garden. All right, I'm slowly chipping away at my garden stash on the side of my yard and the things that I have in my cart. So that's slowly dwindling as I get things planted in the ground. I am getting very soaked now, so I think it's time to take a little break and head back inside for a bit. But I will really look forward to getting the rest of these things planted that I have accumulated over the fall months into my garden. And these were some great things for today to get in there. I know we've got some rain coming up, so they're going to have a chance with some fairly mild temperatures to get watered in and to start getting established here through our winter time. So rain or shine, I will see you next time.